In the bottom right-hand corner, our Red Brawlers player. This is herO from Dragon Kaizi here in the grand finals of the KSL Korean StarCraft League. I believe this is week number 4. At the top left, our Blue Terran player from Onside Gaming, Maru. Thanks for dropping by, everyone, on the live stream tonight. Appreciate you all being here. Obviously, just kind of a bit of a flung-together stream. I did want to stream a bit today, but like I said, just kind of a weird day because, well, yeah, I didn't know when exactly I was going to be able to start streaming because we're getting some work done in the house, so just sort of like coming online for a couple hours. Didn't really have much of a plan. Just cast some replays and have a good time. So appreciate you all dropping by and enjoying some games with us. This is probably our last series of the night. I want to stream for about another hour or so, an hour and 15 minutes, but obviously I don't know if I can really start another series after this. So we'll probably do this series and then just like chill and chat for a little bit to wrap the stream up, but I mean, maybe if this series is only like 20 minutes long, then maybe we do another one, but hopefully that's not the case. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello. You guys are wonderful too. Maru, herO. You know, the clickbait is in the title. It's pretty much just a great series usually, so if you are watching this on YouTube, consider hitting the like button to help other people find these awesome games of StarCraft 2. And yeah, also thank you so much for dropping by and checking out some games with us. So this is a finals, it's a best of 5. Maru has won both of the cups he's played in the KSL. Oh, I actually don't think I casted week 3, so I actually don't know who won week 3. So all I know is that Maru won the 2 that he played in weeks 1 and 2. So looking for his 3rd KSL title, looking to make the Korean StarCraft League his KSL, more like MSL, the Maru StarCraft League. herO looking to make a stop to that. Cybercore about to finish up on the side of herO. We do see the Reaper popping out. It's a tech lab immediately on the barracks. That's kind of fun. Fast tech lab. That's something you usually see, right? Like, that is definitely a little bit of a, you know, a question mark for me. What the hell are we doing here? What are we kind of getting up to? As the Reaper does move across the map, Maru will start to get some information of his own. Just gonna go Marauders on the follow-up. He did start Concussive Shells, cancelled it for a moment. Looks like he'll get the factory first, then he should still go Concussive Shells. Reaper gets turned around, and yeah, like I say, just kind of getting the barracks up and not going Concussive Shells. You surely still do at some point, otherwise the Marauders just aren't anywhere near as useful. One of the big wins about the Marauders is if this Adept, for example, wanders too close to the sun, or in this case the Marauders, well, then they will get struck down and not able to escape. So, yeah, that's because of the Concussive Shell slowing them. This is actually a sentry early from herO, though, so he's actually got a very quick hallucination on the map, so he's going to get perfect info. This is a sacrifice. Instead of building tech, you build the sentry. It's very gas expensive, so you can't afford a Stargate or a Twilight Council anywhere near as quickly as you might usually. As this hallucination flies through into the main base, well, there is Concussive Shells, like I say, on the way up on the barracks, and this Phoenix is just going to do a bit of an awkward dance. And yeah, you just get perfect info. And going into 3 gates from here, we'll see what herO can do. I'm not immediately convinced about the 3 gates in terms of how it will work out against someone who already has a couple Marauders who are quite sturdy units to help defend initially. Especially if Maru can get a bunker up, then I do feel like there's some potential there for stuff to get intriguing. Although, I guess if Maru comes across the map and attacks with these Marauders, he will be able to, A, trade very well, and B, herO, but then B, herO will not actually care about, you know, there being Marauders, so maybe herO can attack. Maru will see the fast 3rd base. The extra Adepts warping in from herO. Does he have enough to go across the map at this stage? Obviously, no warping on the other side either. I don't really think so. Probably just with the Adepts, and that will be about all. Adepts just going to shade by. The SCV's trying to move up in toward the main. Just going to chase that away too. 3 SCVs will get picked off already, and it's actually quite nice. Those 3 Adepts putting some work in. I mean, Maru just doesn't have much of an answer for them. He does have Stim already starting, though. That's one of the benefits of that tech lab being on the barracks pretty quickly, so starting out with that straight away. The 2 extra barracks about to finish up on the main, and this medevac flying right towards the natural expansion here, getting straight in. Let's see what these Widow Mines can do. No blinks, the Stalkers will be hard-pressed to actually get a kill on the medevac/mines. He gets rid of one, and that probe will go down. 5 SCVs died to the Adept harass, though, so not really making up for it over here, unfortunately. You would have hoped that, obviously, with some damage taken on one side, you would make up for it elsewhere, but like I say, just not the case at all. As things settle down just a little bit. Some Stalkers, some Adepts all gathering up, and Prism's about halfway done. Against him, finishing shortly. The +1 is coming in. I do like where Maru's at tech-wise, because the tech of herO is pretty much non-existent. There's 3 Adepts, there's 7 Stalkers on the map, no upgrades. The tech has a robo facility, and obviously now the War Prism that came out of that, and obviously vision with observers, but none of this helps you to straight up fight the army of Maru. But yeah, it can help you prep against the army of Maru, and okay, the Prism to some extent can counterattack, and obviously it can micro as well. So those are things that help, but yeah, in a straight-up fight, I don't love it. And Maru's going 5 racks, so he's going to be very aggressive off the 2 bases here. And I think that specifically is going to be kind of a big deal, because I think that is really going to put it in a place where Maru is going to be in some trouble. Because 5 barracks is a lot of pressure, and that's why I think he can just overrun here. I think I just said Maru in trouble. I think I meant herO in trouble. I think I misspoke there. A couple of Depths on store will come in. I mean, this is nice. It should, in theory, keep Maru at home. Even the threat of that Prism should keep some units back for a little while. Marines get to the corner. Prism. It's going to hide over there. Combat Shield and the +1. And a couple extra gates just coming in. Again, the charge coming out. Immortal on the way through. Cannon and the battery building up from herO still. And the Prism is going to recoil away from the top left-hand side, so bring that back home. Now Maru doesn't have to worry about it. He's just going to go all out. He's even going to pull the SCVs. 2 base all-ins don't always pull the SCVs, but this is Maru saying, I have a deadly timing right now that the SCVs are going to help with. So he believes, and I don't blame him. Like I say, the tech has been slow to get into play from herO because of the fact he opened 3 gates. He does have 2 Immortals. Can they do enough? They're going to get, obviously, caught up a lot on the SCV's mind, so if they are firing at SCVs, they're not going to be helpful elsewhere. The tanks get into a bit more of an aggressive position. Maru kind of force field baiting. So, oh my god, instantly starts to target fire the battery, and it was just then popped into a super battery, so it gets 2 shot down. The super battery does basically nothing, as we do lose pretty much all the SCVs, but that's all you needed them to do. They fought for long enough for Maru to have the army supply lead, and now Maru has double the army supply, +1 in his favor. I guess +1 armor about to finish in the side of on the side of herO, but he has no units to really use with it. He has to pull his own probes in to defend. That's not really how this matchup works. The Immortal and the Archon here will be targeted down as priorities. Those tech units being taken out will limit what herO can do defensively. GG is called, and Maru is going to take a convincing game number 1, opening up this best of 5 with a decisive attack through the middle. 2 base all in, and honestly, I think just comes off of the opening. 3 gates of herO doesn't do much. Fast third base, slow tech. It all adds up to just being really, really weak against a 2 base all in, honestly. And it really felt like we saw that there. GG's. In the top right-hand corner of Altitude, our second map of this best of 5 final, we will begin with the red Protoss player from Dragon Kaisi. It is herO. He takes on the blue Terran in the bottom left-hand corner of the map from Onside Gaming. It's Maru. New season of World Team League starting up soon. I just mentioned that because Dragon Kaisi and Onside are going to be very fun to watch. It's actually got delayed a little bit, guys. So the Dragon Kaisi, so the first weekend of, or the first week of WTL will actually be the 18th, 19th, and 20th, so it'll be through the week in for week 1 of the WTL. Simply because, obviously, it's Gamers Without Borders over the next couple weekends, so that kind of ate into the initial WTL schedule, so they just had to shift around that. So I think the 500k tournament might be a move to spark new interest in the StarCraft series for possible remake or StarCraft 3. No, I don't think a $500,000 tournament is going to make any impact at all on the future of the StarCraft as a franchise. It's nice to have it, on the eSports side of things. It will not, nothing will affect the view of Blizzard on that. with like one little tournament, basically. Like just to Blizzard, that's just like a little tournament, right? It's like it's whatever. They're like, oh, people want to pay, you know, put some money into one of our games. Sure, yeah, have a games license or have a broadcast license, whatever it is. Sad call. Going to finish up. Stargate already producing. There is going to be on the map. So herO going to go on the more aggressive side of things, as Maru's SCV scout will tell him, hey, look, this is a main base with no natural, double gas. You know, calculating right now. He's like, huh, that's probably a proxy. Reaper is going to catch the probe coming into the natural, and would be surprised if this Reaper did anything other than scout to the, you know, out around and look for proxies. We do see that pylon place, which made me wonder if we would perhaps see the Reaper hang back to fight it, but there's a Marine and he starts the bunker. I don't think he should be too upset. I think the pylon is more so a bait for the Reaper to kind of be busy more than anything else. I guess we'll see if herO wants to really use it for anything. Don't think so. First Oracle is built, and Maru scouted to the right side, so he did not scout left, which means the proxy has gone unnoticed. But like I said before, I think Maru has been able to figure out a little bit of what's expected here, at least. As the Reaper is now starting out the left side and should now just about glimpse the Stargate, so Maru does get confirmation that this is indeed going to be a proxy Stargate, and that is something he now knows to work around. He's already building a bunker in his main because he doesn't have a lot of units initially, so he actually just wants to put some Marines in here to be able to defend this, and, well, Oracle's going to show up. The Marines are going to start taking some damage. The bunker is not going to save two of them. One Marine in a bunker doesn't provide a lot of damage, but at least it is some damage going out. Oracle just goes to the other side of the mineral line, but the SCVs will pull over. The Widow Mine now active. Just not able to reach across to the Oracle at any point here, obviously noticing that and staying away from it. But only 2 SCVs lost. A bit of mining time is really not so bad. I guess 2 SCVs, 2 Marines, and you build a bunker, and some mining time. When you add everything up, it's pretty reasonable. But it is a proxy Stargate. It could have been much worse, as we now have the tech lab on the factory. And with Cyclone production beginning, you know that we're on our way to the real defense against these Oracles. Unless the 2 Oracles can snag the first Cyclone as it pops out. If you just get 2 Oracles activating that Cyclone immediately, then you can actually win the fight against it. Obviously, at that point, the Marines will probably be popping out to try and support the Cyclone. I guess that's going to be something we see there as well. That council about halfway done. Gateway building up. We do have 1 Cyclone already popping out and just locking onto the Oracles, as, well, the Oracles did not get the dive onto the Cyclone that I was mentioning, so herO won't find much more here. With Triple Oracle, he does have 1-shot potential onto any Marines. He has 1-shot potential onto the SCVs. So he will just cruise around with these 3 Oracles and use this as his map control as he sets up behind it. Blink now on the way, and herO builds himself up into a more macro favorable position. He's kind of even on workers right now. Usually Pros wants to be a few ahead because of mules. I'd say typically he's done enough here for that to be kind of alright. You can see some pulls for herO have given him a big eco lead. And he dives in here to get 4 or 5 SCVs, so now he does find the damage to actually put himself ahead. 7 workers, 8 workers, and yeah, basically fix what I was about to complain about for him, which was that, yeah, you know, maybe the economy isn't quite where it wants to be. It's not quite exactly how, you know, it would be ideal to be or anything like that. So, yeah. Cool. The damage done definitely helps us. There is a Widow Mine there! He's going to lose 1 Oracle. Widow Mine hidden behind the factory. Good play by Maru. Just relocating that a couple times over until finally herO gets a little bit complacent with the Oracles, not double-checking everywhere for it, and finally getting struck down. So 1 Oracle falls, and that does take away the 1-shot potential, so SCV should be a little safer now. A little bit more difficult to just fly in and go 1, 2, 3, 4 like he did previously. Now it'd be like 2/3 and 1. 1 and 2/3 and 2. Doesn't quite have the same impact, right? Much harder to count on your fingers as well if you're a finger counter. Obviously, Blink is soon done, and herO will use this as his next way to apply pressure. He already has the Oracles to provide high ground vision. He already has the proxy pylon on the Stargate to warp in from, albeit slow warp-ins. So he will use this as a combination, as a way to stay aggressive here in this game too. Stasis wards at the front, which is quite nice because it will, even if it doesn't catch too many units, it's a bit of a heads up if you just try and come around the right side. Say the Stalkers jump into the main. If then, you know, Maru tries to send some units to the low ground or flank, it's actually quite nice as a pre-warning there. And of course, you can use it to bait units into as well. If these units want to chase the Stalkers out the front of the natural, they would run into a Stasis ward as well. So just a cute place to have it. There is a Reaper from Maru that's going to dive out the left side of the main base, or at least try to. He wants to go across the map for info. herO sees it, turns the Oracles around. What I felt was a little bit too late for it. He actually had a warping coming off the Stargate that actually does catch that Reaper. So the Reaper does go down. So with the Reaper felled, well, let's see what's next as our Stalker's going to hop up into the main. Marine start a fight, Cyclone locked on, and the Oracle there is actually going to turn back around to just go straight into it. SCVs will continue to pull in. Stalkers continue to blink down to the low ground. 8 SCVs, 9, 10, all being killed off here. A couple of Stalkers still being picked away at, and this is 13 SCVs, 14 SCVs all going down. Well, really good damage from herO, so just being aggressive all the way throughout this game. Very typical herO, you know. Put this game behind barcodes, and you feel like most players would be able to identify that this is probably herO, because again, he just loves being aggressive. And he's showing us exactly that right now as we knock down this bunker. We back it up a little bit. These few Marines and the Cyclone, the couple of Marauders trying to move through, see what they can get up to. But yeah, it's tough, right? herO's put himself in a great space, and he's transitioning smoothly behind this as well, most notably. Charge is finishing up, so he's going to have Zealots as a front line if it does come down to an army fight. That makes it way better than it was in previous games. He's got the Robo finishing soon too. We'll see exactly what he wants to do with the Robo facility. Even just one Immortal, if Maru does start pushing across the map quite aggressively, a single Immortal can do a lot to kind of buff up your army, be a good kind of defensive unit in there, while still packing a punch if it ever gets in range of units like siege tanks and so on. I think even just Marauders. Of course, herO could just go Observer initially too and just get a bit more info, also pretty valuable. As right now, this is what he couldn't do last game. So last game he couldn't be on the map slowing Maru down, but he can this time with the Stalkers. He actually has the charge ops as well. He's going to start coming through. As Maru and Siege, the Zealots came in from the side and just try to catch this move out. herO is just going to trade out for SCVs here. This will mean he drops very far down on army supply, and it will be important for herO to try to bounce back from this army supply loss very quickly. Killing 11 SCVs is great and all, but you still have everything else still left to do, right? So, yeah, I guess we'll be setting up for that very soon here. As he does this little bit of bio coming forward, Stalker's going to take some shots. One Stalker already taking a hit. Person comes around that left-hand side and is ready to hit the main base. Again, herO just full control of this game. If Maru has a chance here, it really is just going soon and not looking back. Obviously, that's hard to do when the Prism's in play and forcing you to turn back around, but that's why it's the right play from herO. That's why he wants to be here distracting Maru, because if Maru goes across, there is a chance at the very least, especially if the tanks get in a good position and maybe the Zealots get a bit too clumped up and Maru can step properly, then there's always going to be a path back into it. But I'd say with the pressure that herO's applying and the overall setup, I mean, I still think herO has to make some heavy mistakes to miss out here, basically. Stalkers moving up, and we do have the few units of herO just setting up around the top. Couple Stalkers blinking in, tanks taking some damage. We'll grab one Stalker over to that left-hand side. The few Zealots continue to run through. And again, tanks just going to have to stay back a little bit here. Our units continue to press on forward. Zealots going straight in. Maru just does not have what he needs. herO's aggression from the start just kept things moving in his favor, and herO is able to take that that first map for himself for 1-1 tie-up to tie the series. KSL number 4 finals. In the top left corner, the Red Protoss player from Dragon Kaizi. Make some Twitch chat noise if you are cheering on herO. Twitch chatters around the world right now are spamming their keyboards to support herO in this third game. As in the bottom right corner of the map, the blue Terran from Onside Gaming, it is Maru. You can also make some noise for if you would like to tap on your keyboards in the chat. Yeah, here we go. Twitch chat, audioized. This is actually exactly what Twitch chat just read like. There you go. Ooh. Noise times 2. Oh. Second noise. There we go. Oh. My goodness. The double noise, huh? Wow. Couple of refineries coming up on the side of Maru as we do play the double gas 1 base opener, which allows him to be a bit more aggressive. Obviously, he is going to be able to give a faster factory. Would be great defensively if herO tries to do something like he did last game. And obviously provides you with some good offensive options as well, because your opponent will also be a little bit vulnerable, because your tech will hit a little bit sooner. Mind drops would hit before Blink comes straight out of a Twilight opening, for example. So a few things to keep our eyes on here. As we do see this probe coming across, dropping down the Nexus, and that's going to be herO's opening for the moment. So Nexus coming down, we do have the factory producing on the side of Maru. And yeah, just wait for that factory. Reactor comes out straight after the Reaper, so we will have the Reaper to go scout, the Reactor to provide some Marine production as well. This is going to be our early game setup. And we'll see when Maru is going to take that third base. Shouldn't be too far off. He did pull out of gases with one worker on each side, so it's only 4 workers mining that gas initially, and now a little bit less. And yeah, just going to get the CC down on the high ground though, so just being very safe, very cautious of what herO can do, right? Just sort of saying like, yeah, I really appreciate and respect that you can be aggressive, and that's where you find your absolute, highest levels of success. But let me just sort of like negate that. Like, let me just take away a lot of your options to control this game from the very beginning, because that's what you did last time. You saw success with it. I know you can see success with that on repeat, basically. As our starport comes into play as well for Maru. Tech Lab immediately on the factory, and he will head into this Cyclone straight away. Hasn't scouted at all yet, so just straight to the Cyclone, alongside some Marine production as well. The herO off the Stargate is going to build a Phoenix. It could be kind of rough for herO, because if you're going to go a Phoenix and your opponent's kind of building a blind Cyclone and blind Marines, like, there is a push on a small map like Dragon Scales where Maru can just overwhelm you. So I'm actually very worried for herO, because Viking Cyclone Marine is the perfect setup, and especially if herO doesn't scout, which he is going to do. He sends the Phoenix straight across the map because he knows he needs to know what's happening in Maru's base. If he doesn't know what's happening in Maru's base, he is going to put himself in a lot of trouble, and he can't respond because, again, the map is small. It's not an easy map to move to defend on. The Terran can move across easily. Information is key rather than just hiding those Phoenix away and hoping Maru Widowmine drops and that you can get some free pickings. Once it lands onto the natural, then we do see the few SCVs just getting onto the natural. Phoenix is still scouting around. Obviously, Maru not making a move across the map yet, but I feel like it's just got to be an expectation that he will get going at some stage, especially now knowing it's a Phoenix as well. Unless he expects it to be a hallucinated Phoenix like herO had in that first game. I don't think... Was it there for too long to be the hallucination? Because obviously in the first game herO opened with a sentry so you could hallucinate early. Maybe that's a little bit of a throw that herO can do onto the idea of what this is from Maru's point of view. Cyclones move down to the low ground. We'll begin to move onto the map with everything else. The Robo Bay coming up, the Immortal in production. Let's get a sentry finishing up on that natural expansion. Also here, as our Phoenix, the Adept, moving by together. It's going to catch the Adept. Obviously, Maru was towards the center of the map. Well, first Immortal's going to pop shortly. That is a massive aid when it comes to defending these kind of pushes, so Maru's also not going to stay moving forward. He's going to pull back too. He's got a Raven now. Can he protect the Raven against the Phoenix is one of my favorite questions lately when it comes to TvP. And it's time to start Raven Watch, where you figure out if Ravens will die to the Phoenix or not. Well, how many Phoenix die if they try to kill the Raven is also a fun one to guess. The Phoenix jump onto this mineral line for 2 more SCV kills, so a couple of additional workers will drop down already. Stimpak, Combat Shield, all building up on the side of Maru. The +1 attack upgrade also over halfway done, coming up to completion as well. Our Twilight Council building from herO, the Colossus on the way up, the Extended Thermal Lance is on the way out. And we'll just see our Gateway, Nexus, and everything else getting set up together at the moment. 2 Cyclones will be jumping up into the main base. Just gonna hang out there. The 2 Phoenix, 3 Phoenix, gathering up on the front. We just have a few moments of kind of just chilling, waiting. Readying ourselves for a potential fight to break out. Maru's gonna start pushing right now. I mean, he's got the Terran upgrade. Stim, combat +1. Gosh, guys, Maru's so creative. Who would have guessed this kind of a push would come out? This is a scare. What are you doing, herO? I know are you trying to feign aggression, catch it early? I have no idea, but that feels like a terrible idea. Out in the open, force fields are less effective. I hate that for him, as he does now have a second Colossus here. We pop the barrier on the Immortal. Remember, we do have the Raven that will look to be active here. Matrixes both Colossi, and suddenly herO essentially has no army. Super Battery lasts no time at all. That was not a good place to build it. The Colossus that was neutralized in the natural dies alongside an Immortal, and herO has to go through Widow Mines to get into his natural. He's going to lose the robots, he loses Disruptive Production, and he will just die. With a lot of money in the bank as well. hero's macro absolutely not on point here in this game 3. And that's just how easy as it is. Duh. Why don't you guys just do this in every TvP? Obviously the size of the map kind of sucks. Even the entry to the natural in the third, being able to kind of put yourself in between the bases, and the pros can kind of, only be up one of those ramps with everything. And then obviously just keeping the Raven alive all the way throughout. I mean, that's the issue. We kind of opened Phoenix here that didn't really do anything. In this case, I would say one of the Phoenix's main jobs would have been to try and neutralize that Raven before it got spellcasts off. Obviously, that was absolutely not done at all, so yeah, not looking pretty. And this looks as though Maru will comfortably have this third game. A lead in the series once again. And Maru, one map away from becoming a 3-time Korean StarCraft League champion. A weekly cup he decided to play in. Turns out Maru plays in weekly cups, he dominates them. But this series is not over yet. We saw just how different game 1 to game 2 looked. I'm sure herO may have something in the tank left to respond with going into a game 4, but yeah, this one is as good as done, and this is just a case of, well, maybe these units in the main base get cleaned up, but there's just so much eco damage that's being done as well, right? I mean, herO only has 35 probes. Even if Maru loses everything, overcommitting to these fights, he's still so far ahead on economy for rebuilding, so it just makes it really seem unlikely, quite frankly. And I think, like I say, Maru will have a 2-1 lead in the near future. There's the GG right now. I was kind of wondering if Maru would be forced to fight across the map again, or build up a little bit longer, or just what was going to be the trigger for herO to leave. But yeah, turns out he's just gonna, he knows the position he's in. He knows this isn't pretty, so he's just gonna tap out of that pretty quickly. GG's, and like I say, Maru 2-1 lead in our grand final. In game. Top right is herO, down a map, and needing to stop this man in the bottom left. Blue Terran, it is Maru. No way they make even $5 a month showing you ads. Well, it's not about how much they'd specifically make showing you ads. It's about how valuable you as a person are to be included in their numbers when they sell ads. Okay, we're coming up, a couple of racks coming through as we do see Maru getting proxy heavy in game number 4. So proxying it up over on this right-hand side. And it's very close to the base of herO, so herO's going to have to be on top of this, because otherwise he's in trouble. And unfortunately for herO, he ain't scouting, so we could see a pretty quick ending to this game number 4 in this finals, because, like I say, herO ain't scouting, herO ain't seeing what's coming his way. He might be in some trouble here. Nexus goes down, Cybercore is on the way, and herO is still completely unaware as to the fact there's 2 Marines building at a time just out the front of his base. And yeah, it might be time to cancel that Nexus as the first Marine shows up super early in the game. Bunker goes down. This is already great for Maru if he gets the bunker at the front here. Cancel the Nexus, whatever. Just the bunker is something that's so hard to work through. As we have our Marine moving up the ramp even, and there's actually a bit of a problem. Bunker on the high ground now. And all of a sudden we are talking about some real issues. If this bunker goes up, like, this is genuinely going to become very hard to defend. You've got high ground vision here too, by the way, so these Marines can continue to chase the Zealot, but he actually gets all 3 slices off on the SCV. Well, I felt like that actually wasn't necessary to happen on Maru's point of view, so I think that was a mistake from him. And a little bit of a costly one, right? Just more damage taken there than maybe should have been on Marines. But the SCV there is not even building the bunker, lazy guy. Gonna go back to the low ground, and now it becomes a question of fighting against that Nexus. That is going to get cancelled. Two gates still coming up, and just seeing the robo facility about halfway done. Stalker on the way. Wolf gate coming through the factory is about to finish on the side of Maru as well. So, factory back at home. 3 extra gates from herO, by the way. So, 4 gates and a robo. He wants to get aggressive on the counterattack. I imagine a prism, and we just swing across the map and try and punish the fact that Maru is obviously kind of got a lot of his Marines in the front of the map being aggressive. Let's see if that works out. Cold storage is going to be pinging away. Starport is on the way up. I'm just going to see a couple of storages pinging our way through that barracks. You can already see it kind of smoking a little bit. Going to begin burning down very shortly here. As you see, our factory is currently producing a Cyclone. Obviously, Cyclone good defensively because it can have that mobility to kind of stay alive compared to like a siege tank that just gets dove on by the units from the prism. herO just gonna... I mean, he elevated out of his base, but there's no defense at the front from Maru anymore, so I guess that's not really a factor as our command center is about to finish in the main base of Maru. Yes, a few stalkers come up. We need to get ready to rally on forward as this army of herO. Just gonna jump up into the main base. Tank is going to be sieging. The Marines still in the bunker, and SCV's pulled to surround. There's one force field around the back as we do see the Cyclone locking onto that prism for a few moments, and the prism just taking a few shots, peeling away to the side. The Zealots are going to load back up as well. Stalkers come forward, and we will take down the Cyclone straight away. Obviously, the siege tank positioned pretty well defensively at the moment, and we do see the prism actually taking some shots. It's going to die to the Viking in a moment, so no more warp-ins here, and no way to escape this base. So these units are now fighting to the death. The Viking dies as it lands. The tanks are... well, we're going to fight the best they can. The siege one goes down. There's one in the back still active. The SCVs have to pull in as Maru scraps for his life here. I think he will hold this off. He's lost 12 SCVs. However, that's 23 to 22 workers in the game. And Maru has a base up over herO, whose 4-gate prism play is shut down. Light Council starting up on the side of herO. We do see our prism making its way down to the bottom left corner. Just going to be seeing our Nexus building on the natural 2. Prism into the main. SCVs will begin to take some shots. Marines pulling through. A couple of SCVs do go down. Siege tank coming through as well. And the prism lifting up. Micro continuing. herO needs to do damage because he's way later on taking his base. Obviously, Maru is just rebuilding those SCVs. Already up by a few with the double mule available to him. I think he's been pretty safe not dropping mules because he wants to make sure he's got scans just in case as well. Prism into the main. Couple of SCVs getting picked away at. We do just have the few Marines going to come back across. Storm coming up from herO, so you're at least going to be able to start attacking out, and a couple of high damage could also feed back this Raven. One thing herO can't really afford right now is the Raven getting like 5 to 10 probes. So in we go, auto turret goes down. herO doesn't lose 5 or 10 probes yet, though. The first auto turret not doing much. It'll come in again for a second. I mean, the feedback won't do much to kill the Raven, but of course it can still do a lot to, you know, take the energy away. Feedback goes down. Just going to see the Raven getting hit. Storm about to finish. And that charge already starting up as well from herO, so continue to tech along. He is in trouble, right? He's down a few workers. He's down an army supply, but he will storm drop, and he is going to get a lot of SCVs. Oh, I thought it was going to be more, honestly. He gets 5. I thought the last few were going through the storm as well. Just about to finish, and we do see the Archon lifting up, ready to drop into the natural expansion. So in we go. Gonna actually go on top of the tank, and then these SCVs are low, so actually you can't really pull SCVs into this because they die very quickly. Tank goes down, and Maru, going across the map with the drop, is going to need to do some damage now. As our Zealots and the Archon come in, we do see the tank still firing. Zealots taking a beating, but only so much from tank fire. Now we do see the drop into the main. We kind of need to start unloading. The feedback on one of these medevacs perhaps would be a good way to take some healing out of the equation, but Maru turns it around. He's going to focus on defending at home, and he's not going to go aggressive. Maybe he just doesn't feel like he needs to if there's only 2 bases. So herO's got his third ready. Medevac back over to the right side with the little bit of a drop in Widowmine inside to get some damage done. I was really surprised about those 2 medevacs. I think obviously Maru just really got caught up, you know, defending back at home, trying to minimize that Archon drop from doing too much. That he really had so much potential. Like, there was not really anything from herO in that main base to defend. I knew High Templar was fresh. He didn't have Storm energy. He could have done a lot. So a missed opportunity perhaps, as we do see a feedback going down here. Widowmine will burrow. We'll actually get a few probes. We actually retarget it. I wouldn't be upset if he just let it fire. Oh, he's actually only going to get 1. I feel like if he let it fire straight away, he would have had 2 or 3 maybe, but yeah, not too. Doesn't matter too much. He did deny some extra mine time by retargeting, as we do Storm here to defend, and those Storms are going to be the main part of the defense from herO the upcoming little while. Marines has got to kind of run out of there for a little bit. A couple Stalkers and the Zealot chasing him away, not letting him really get a chance to heal up either. Army pulling back. High Templar storms. Marines getting covered right there. Another feedback on the Raven too. The SCV's going down, so 4 of them already dropping. Storms come in. Widowmine's just going to be blasting absolutely everywhere. Zealot, Stalkers, High Templar all firing up. We do see a few more SCVs. So the storm comes down to see the Zealots backing away, and we do have herO still just keeping the aggression going his way, and these storms have been unanswered by Maru. He's about to get some ghosts up. They should help a lot. Let's see if we can actually turn things around a little bit, as our medevacs will be shot at. And we do drop an EMP there. The Archon getting hit too is going to be low now, so more difficult, or yeah, got to be kind of careful. Forge, Robo Facility, the Robo Bay, all of that continuing for the moment here as herO techs up at home, even giving himself another way to play in this game with the Robo Bay. I feel like Maru holds some pretty decent advantages, right? You know, we're talking about 1-1 in play for him against 0-0. +1 only just started from herO. you know, SCV count just took a beating, but up until that point, Maru's been in a pretty comfortable eco lead for the majority of the game, so let's see what herO can do, because I still feel like he's a little bit behind, but it's much closer than it has been at previous points of this, for sure. Much closer than it has been. Moving forward, the EMP goes down, Archon's getting struck. Big Storm goes down on a chunk of those Marines. One more as well. Viking has to back away for the moment, as we do have another Archon producing. High Templar is going to storm the Ghosts. Ghosts are a little bit tankier, they can eat some of those storms, which is reasonable. There is a bit of action over there, as that just gets cleaned up in that mineral line. Medivac's boosting back along. And just seeing how Marauders and Medivac's still part of this army of Maru. Just split up a little bit. This army of herO ready to come down the ramp. And EMP maybe lining up on those High Templar, not just yet. Storm's coming down, and Disruptor gets picked off. Archon and Colossus just kind of getting nuked as well, so the Bioforce doing pretty decently against those units, and the tech units going down, so Maru's able to keep pushing in with 1-1 upgrades. Can he deal with 2 Colossi, though? He's actually a little bit hurt on his army, and he doesn't really have Medivac energy left over, so without the Medivac energy, you can't heal up, and those Colossi are a bit too threatening, and they do turn Maru away, even though he has double the army supply. So herO losing out big time out in front. Look at the plummeting supply there. That graph tells the tale of the battle. And you've got 2 Colossi that basically save you from losing the game after that. So everything herO did right to get back in this, that fight was just, you know, not it. And it really undid a lot of what he did there as well. So that's pretty rough, as we do see our scan coming out the front. Just Maru keeping an eye on things. Watching units as they move back and forth, one way and another. And Blink will be finishing shortly on the side of herO, so even more tech for him, who has also now got Disruptors in play. You know, he really has access to all the different parts of splash damage, and, you know, Maru, a little bit slow to 4th base. SCV count has been not really built back up from an earlier stage of this game either, so herO's economy actually stays strong, so times like this, where he actually stays alive and gets to just sort of chill for a while, is quite nice. This is, you know, really benefits him for a little while. There's our Blink, and our Disruptor still coming up, and EMP goes down. Stalker's getting struck. Continuing through, another couple of EMPs. The Colossi firing back, and a few Zealots will continue to drop down as well. Actually going to turn onto these High Templar, but the Storms are decent, and we morph the Archon too, so both the High Templar survive. Also a job pretty darn well done there. Got a first Disruptor shot off into the center of this, and now just seeing the Vikings getting rid of the Colossus, and Stalkers continue to trade. Zealots and Stalkers will just continue through. Our Disruptor will go down as well. It's just going to knock that one out. I'm just going to be seeing another attempt to dive forward. I mean, Maru's still holding supply leads coming out of this. His army consistently looking good, even if he doesn't have much left in the fights. He's got, you know, 20, 30 army supply advantage coming through in production. I think that's the main thing. herO's losing, you know, tech units, and at this point, you can't really keep more than 2 or 3 tech units alive at a time. And that's kind of the issue. If you only have 2 or 3 tech units at a time, there's only really so much you can do there. Especially when someone is as good at Maru as Control, and he knows how to focus those tech units and avoid the damage from the Disruptors, right, as well. That's, you know, another major thing to keep in mind. You're not going to find a super lucky Disruptor shot against Maru, of all people. As we have our 2-2 about to finish from him as well, so upgrading the upgrade lead. A little ways off the +2 attack for herO. I am worried just about, obviously, no armor upgrades, because you're going to start clearing this army out immediately. As, you know, from Maru's point of view, as Medivac comes over here, a couple of Widow Mines drop. herO not paying attention. This is kaboom for Mineral Line. 13 workers. There's maybe a couple ahead of that, but 13 is the final number, as our Stalkers will fight the Planetary. And our Bio just comes through here to chase those Stalkers down. I like the Blink behind. We get one Stalker that can continue to ping away at a Mineral Line for a few moments extra. We warp in. Another few Stalkers as well. Just getting all of those up. And, well, probes long distance in as we take a 5th base on that triangular setup from the main. herO's still the aggressor, right? And I guess that's what you have to be right now. If you let Maru pick these fights, you know you're pretty much always going to do very well. 6 SCVs go down. We will see army of Maru going to try and come in from this. At least when herO's picking the fights, he can get some chip damage. You can kind of, you know, use the disruptors to take the fight a little bit. That's obviously very, very cool as our disruptor fires again. And apparently when this game happened, there was a bit of lag as we do see a couple of Zealots still moving forward. And you see our Stalkers continue to jump on top of these Vikings disruptors. Continue to fire through. Marauder's taking some shots. I mean, honestly, Maru's supply does not look too pretty, considering how it has been. He's got a lot of medevacs with low energy up in the sky. The CVs pull in. Our Bioforce continue to fight. Stalkers continue to trade. 18 SCVs drop. I mean, at least we're going to turn this around eventually as Maru with no disruptors left to slow him down. That was honestly, again, very good. Also coming up, a couple of Zealots coming through again. herO needs to reset that tech count if he wants to have a chance. Extra Colossi just coming up, armor upgrade, and we do see our Bioforce going to grab a couple of Stalkers for free. I really feel like Maru on the map right now can be dangerous. I feel like this is what Maru's not had the entire time, the ability to get on the map and really sort of say to herO, well, you know, you respond to me a little bit here. There's always been Maru kind of dealing with herO's fights, and yeah, maybe that's been missing a little as we are going to knock down a base here. There's a lot of units from Maru on one side. It looks like he's ready to give up this location if herO wants to push in, although herO doesn't commit just yet. The MP goes down, a couple of Widowmine shots going, Zealots getting hit. And this army of Maru kind of gets wiped as well as the Colossi help to push it back. herO is just resilient, man. He refuses to die. Man will not falter. Me, a little bio army. Bio can't kill me. But it might in the end, but I mean, this game is just an entire game where just herO shouldn't have been alive, right? Like, Maru has been, you know, very ahead early. He's been kind of ahead throughout. You can just see that. I mean, you can see every time that herO's taken a fight, there's been multiple points where it looks as though herO's army's just reset, but he bounces back. This time we enter a bit of a base trade. I actually prefer that for Maru, I think, because Maru just has a larger army going in. That helps a lot in a base trade. herO doesn't really have the I think he just recall to be able to defend a little bit as well, so I'm not sure he actually has recall available. And the recall's on cooldown, so you can't just choose like when to go home, which is actually one of the better parts of base trading as a Protoss, being like, oh yeah, you know, I've had enough right now, or I've done enough on this side, let's go home and try and edge an advantage out by keeping one base alive over you. So he doesn't really have that option. He's just got to enter the base trade in full as these probes will continue to drop Maru into the natural expansion. Can Maru defend in the main base at all as well? Because that may be a way for him to just stop herO in his tracks. Bio diving in on this Nexus. It will go down on the natural. Obviously, that's not going to be stopped. He'll aim for the base to the left side now. Maru's going to go with the Bio. He's going to target down the Disruptor. Does not get hit by it. That's huge because now I think he has enough to go through the Colossi. And then herO doesn't have any offense left. And without an attack, well, Maru still has two bases, still has production, he will have this game. And that's going to be our finals. Maru, a very difficult game number 4, just compared to maybe what it should have been. He wins the series 3-1, but boy, what an effort from herO. What a way to just live on, basically.